The Philadelphia mayor got to make amends, speaking of Super Bowl. You know, she had the issue where she misspelled the word Eagles. This came a few weeks ago while they were in the playoffs.
Well, listen, we've got to do this. Let me hear you all say E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
She went by.
Elgses.
Yep, Elgses. She's not alone. We've got at least 3 examples of people misspelling the word Eagles, which doesn't seem to be that hard, especially if you're from Philadelphia and you are an Eagles fan. They made a shirt for her. Elgses. Right. So she's at an event yesterday, and she said, all right, let me give it another shot.
I need to say this for the record, and nobody can say this with me. I have to do this alone. Alone, silence. Ready. I committed a cardinal sin, and your mayor had a viral moment across the world. An English teacher. What did I say to you yesterday, Dr. Watlington? An English teacher. So, how do you spell Eagles to me? I spell it N-F-L-C-H-A-M-P-I-O-N-S.
All right.
Take that, right?
All right. That's pretty good. Now, when she started, I thought she was having a stroke.
Yeah. Oh, stop her.
Not Eagles either. It's worse.
You're getting way worse. You start with an N. I was like, what's she doing?
N.
Oh, boy. She's
No.
way off on this one. But she made amends because she spelled NFL champions. I think they probably thought about doing Super Bowl champions, but it was way too long. You just got to condense it to NFL champions. So she made amends yesterday. That's Sherelle Parker. The other guy who got a chance to make up for something he has done is Phil Simms. Now, we've chronicled this story for 9 years. 9 years ago, Jim Nantz was calling an NFL game for CBS. Phil Simms was his broadcast partner. He's in the booth beside him. It's a cold day in Pittsburgh in January. The Steelers were beating the Dolphins that day at what was then called Heinz Field. And in the late part of the game, late third quarter, apparently, now the rumor was that Phil Simms passed gas so noxiously next to Jim Nantz that Nantz said, I'm not working with this guy again.
Ever.
So the conversation was this. It had been very cold, and we actually saw a video. Nantz gets up and hangs his head out the broadcast booth to get some air.
Yeah, and got to remember the win. We've talked about that, and I think it's warmed up, though, Jim, just to talk about the atmosphere of the game. What do you think? Are you warmer now than you were earlier in the game, or are you just numb?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm worried about you.
There's a little chuckle.
A little bit of a sniff.
A little bit of a sniff. I mean, we're really inside the numbers now.
Yeah.
And then Sim says, is it warmer now? Like he's just done that. And Nance says, I'm worried about you. So everybody thought Simms has passed gas on Nance. 2 weeks later, they broadcast the Super Bowl. After that, Simms was out.
Simms, my office.
Gone.
So Simms now stays in New York with the pregame team. Jim Nantz has Tony Romo next to him, and Romo wouldn't dare pass gas next to Jim Nantz. Now, here we are, 9 years later. Phil Simms is on the Boomer Esiason podcast yesterday. Okay, so they're, I guess, friends. Simms sits down. They do a long interview about the Super Bowl.
Are they together on their pregame show?
They might be.
I think they are, yeah.
Esiason is on.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, they are.
On TV.
Yeah, and there's another host. It's Boomer Esiason and somebody. So Phil Simms sits down. They go over the Super Bowl. They talk all about it, his broadcast career and so forth. And then Boomer says, let's bring something up you might not want to talk about.
He went there.
He went there, yeah. And so Simms says, Boomer gets it out, and Simms says, absolutely did not happen.
Yeah, and
Oh, sorry, that's the gas pass again. Excuse me. This is Phil Simms explaining it yesterday when he was on with Boomer Esiason.
That is not true.
That is so true.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Listen, I would. There's no way I would do that. I would never do
Wait a
that.
minute. That was a whole conversation between you and Nance.
I don't know. I remember it, and I just go, I did not do that.
Then who did it?
No, it could have been somebody else in that booth near him.
Jim says, I'm worried about you.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
it came out of your ass.
I'm telling you, I didn't do it. swear on my children's heads. What else you want me to do?
Oh man! All right. I believe you.
All right, you
On the
heard.
lives of his children.
On his children's heads. Now, one of those kids is Chris Sims. I don't know if he likes him that much, but he did swear on all his children's heads. He did not pass gas on Jim Nance. I think I believe him, too. As a father, you don't say, I swear on my kids' heads.
I'm going to need Nance to tell us the truth.
Are there? How many other people are in the booth? You've got spotters, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
there are spotters, and
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a director or producer. No, the director is in somewhere else.
I think.
Maybe a
Because
producer.
he's got all those screens in front of him. You know, there's a big team.
Yeah, but they're in a different
Exactly.
area,
They're not there.
Yeah.
I think you've got to have a spotter behind you that tells you. Like,
I think each person has a spot.
I do too. So I think there's 4 people in the room.
At minimum.
That's my guess. Sims, Nance, and 2 spotters. Because the director and everything, they do stuff, and like it's in their ear,
Yeah.
we're going to this game. And they have monitors, you know. But I think there are 4 people in the room, and I believe, I'm going to change what I said. I believe Phil Sims.
Based on the swearing on the children.
Yes.
Now, I will tell you this. You guys don't watch the show like we do, but the Dems are still fans of Survivor, which is coming back at the end of this month.
Right.
Another season.
Yeah.
And once a season, someone will swear on their dead grandmother, dead mother, children's lives, I will not betray you. I will not put your name on the parchment. And they vote them out.
Really?
Once a season.
Yeah.
Really?
Once a season.
No.
That's why I'm going to need
Jim Nance. Well, I'll tell you, in seeing the video of the first thing we played.
He is rushing out of frame as quickly as he can in a tiny booth.
He's getting away. The only 2 people on camera, of course, are Sims and Nance is like moving away from.
And then got to remember the win. We've talked about that, and I think it's warmed up though, Jim. Just to talk about the atmosphere of the game. What do you think? Are you warmer now than you were earlier in the game, or are you just numb?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm worried about you.
Okay, it's a real indictment.
So in Phil Sims' mind, they were just discussing the weather.
Well, I think what Phil Sims would say is somebody near him passed gas. There was a terrible odor, and Sims was making jokes about it, but he didn't do it. And going against the
They're
rule.
2 great schools of thought. I refer you back to 2nd grade.
He who smelt it,
He who
dealt
smelt
it.
it, dealt
Dealt it. Yeah. So,
Or he who denied it.
supplied.
I mean, the Supreme Court could not come to an agreement on that.
That's difficult right there.
I just feel like if someone else had done it, he wouldn't have sounded like. I mean, he sounded like he was owning it.
There was a little glee in Sim's voice.
But he said on that Boomer Esiason podcast, look, I would own it. He said, I'm going to quote him, I own my farts. And he said, I did not do this. But when he swears on his children's heads, I believe it. Look, I might swear if I'm lying on my dead grandmother. That's one thing. Your children's heads while they're alive, that's different.
You think that's a different type of swear?
I think it's a different type of swear.
See, I don't see any difference.
My grandma's long passed. And if I say I swear on my grandma's grave, I think that's different than your children's heads. His children are still. Chris Sims does a podcast himself.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that. I'm going to believe Phil Sims over that. You start swearing on people that are around you, your loved ones. You know. Although recently I told my friend Devin when we were playing pickleball, I swore up and down I did not do it, and it was a bad smell. I did. I mean, he heard it. He goes, I thought I heard something, and then he smells it. He's like, oh Jesus, good God! And I said, wasn't me. And he's like, who was it? I said, I don't know, but it wasn't me.
We're the only 2 here.
That's right.
It was that homeless guy.
It's a fact.
Yes.
He walked by and did it.
It's a fact.
Across the street, he's waving it at us with a sign.
I said it was not me. I don't care what you say. It wasn't me, but it was. I felt really bad about that later.